realized it was a tiger. It was too late to drive it away, so Pi had no choice but to spend the night huddled on the mast at the bow of the boat. To his surprise, the next day, a dog emerged from the cabin. The dog wanted to attack Pi, but it was seasick and couldn't manage to get to him, so it retreated back into the cabin. Meanwhile, an orangutan floated near the lifeboat on a bunch of bananas. Pi rescued the orangutan and brought it aboard. Shortly after, the dog emerged from the cabin again, looking famished, and lunged at Pi, who managed to fend it off with an oar. However, late at night, the dog turned its attention to the zebra. Pi and the orangutan dared not approach, and could only watch helplessly as the zebra was killed. This situation couldn't continue. Pi and the orangutan hadn't eaten for days. Suddenly, the dog sprang out and began to harass the orangutan, only to be slapped hard and knocked out on the spot. However, just as the orangutan let its guard down, the dog unexpectedly attacked again and killed the orangutan. Pi drew a small knife, ready to fight the dog to the death. But the next second, the tiger lunged out and swiftly ended the dog's life. Before Pi could even feel relieved, the tiger turned and charged at him. Pi quickly jumped onto the makeshift raft. Leaving the lifeboat to the tiger, they stared at each other across the water. The tiger wanted to eat Pi but couldn't cross the gap. Pi needed the food on the lifeboat but didn't dare approach it. Pi found a survival guide and quickly skimmed through it, hoping to find a solution. Luckily, he did, following the methods in the manual. Pi began to train the tiger. Sure enough, it didn't take long before the tiger became seasick and vomited all over the place. Pi then climbed onto the boat and urinated, trying to assert his dominance, but the tiger disdainfully spat at him, making his first attempt at training a failure. Pi started fishing, knowing the tiger needed 5 kilograms of meat daily and was a strong swimmer. If the tiger got too hungry, it might swim over and attack him. Unfortunately, Pi had no bait and didn't catch a single fish despite his efforts. The tiger grew impatient, jumped into the sea to catch fish itself, and scared all the fish away. Then, it circled back and charged at Pi on the raft. Realizing the tiger's true target was the big piece of meat, Pi hurriedly pulled the rope, escaping to the lifeboat just as the tiger got close. He then hauled the raft onto the lifeboat as well. Pi found an axe, intending to kill the tiger, but when he saw the helpless look in the tiger's eyes as it lay in the water, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Instead, after gathering some supplies, he pushed the raft back into the sea. He blew a whistle and tossed the tiger a plank of wood. Then Pi returned to the raft, leaving the lifeboat to the tiger. This round of maneuvering left Pi with a good amount of food to last for a while, but he didn't relax. He needed to keep finding ways to feed the tiger. This time, using biscuits as bait, Pi quickly caught a big fish and killed it. His first act of taking a life. As a devout believer, Pi cried, but he had no choice. If the tiger became too hungry, it would eat him. Pi then threw the fish onto the lifeboat for the tiger to eat, allowing himself a brief respite. That night, countless marine creatures emitted a soft blue glow, floating on the sea surface like stars fallen into the ocean, creating a magical and mysterious scene. Pi stirred the water with his hand, marveling at the blue luminescence seeping through his fingers, oblivious to the impending danger. Suddenly, a massive whale breached the surface and then crashed down, flipping the raft and sending the biscuits and fresh water tumbling into the sea. A fish suddenly smacked Pi in the face, and then they witnessed an extraordinary sight. Thousands of flying fish darted across the sea surface, wildly hitting their faces, bodies, and some even landed on the boat. To their surprise, they had an unexpected bounty, as a large fish flopped onto the boat. It was the biggest fish Pi had ever seen, and it grabbed a harpoon to wrest it from the tiger. Having lost all his supplies the previous night, Pi had no choice but to fight desperately for the food, or he would starve to death. Sensing Pi's determination, the tiger was actually driven back, and Pi managed to claim the fish. The next day, Pi carved a stick and resumed his plan to train the tiger. This time, he intended to use a combination of reward and intimidation. He started by provoking the tiger with the stick, and when the tiger lunged, he scared it back with a loud shout. It seemed that Pi's fierce stance from the previous day had intimidated the tiger, making it acknowledge Pi's dominance. However, Pi didn't rely solely on intimidation. He rewarded the tiger with a piece of fish. He then continued guiding the tiger with the stick while feeding it. After this training session, Pi raised the stick and drove the tiger into the cabin. At last, Pi had successfully tamed the wild beast.
I never thought a small piece of shade could bring me so much happiness.